Hello. In this example, we're going to pretty much what we did last time. We're going to consider the polynomial function f of x equals 8x to the fourth minus 26x cubed minus 27x squared plus 11x plus 4. We're going to list all possible rational zeros. Then we're going to find all rational zeros and factor the function into linear factors. Fantastic. Now, to do this, the first thing we need to do on at least A here is to find all the factors of P and all the factors of Q. Now P again is the constant term, so that's 4, and Q is associated with the leading coefficient, and that's 8. So I'm going to find all the factors of 4, that's 1 and 4 and 2 and 2, and all the factors of 8 are 1 and 8 and 2 and 4. Now notice that P is repeated here, this factor of 2 is repeated. You don't need to repeat them when you're writing them out, you just get rid of those anyway, so just only do a P value one time. So now we're going to look at all possible P divided by Q's. I'm going to start out with the 1, and so that's 1 divided by, and then all the Q's. So that's 1 over 1, 1 over 2, 1 over 4, 1 over 8. Then go to the next number, the 2. So that's 2 over 1, 2 over 2, 2 over 4, 2 over 8. And then we have the next number, the 4. So that's 4 over 1, 4 over 2, 4 over 4, and 4 over 8. And then you simplify. 1 over 1 is just 1. 1 over 2 is a half, 1 over 4 is a quarter, and 1 over 8 is an eighth. 2 over 1 is 2, 2 over 2 is 1, but we already have it, 2 over 4 is a half, but we already have that, and 2 over 8 is a quarter, but we already have that. Then we have 4, 4 over 2 is 2, but we already have it, 4 over 4 is 1, but we already have it, and 4 over 8 is a half, but we already have it. This is almost there, so now all we need to do is do plus or minus for each one of these. And yes, you have to do plus or minus for each one. You cannot simply put a plus or minus out front of the curly brackets. It doesn't work that way. Wow, that's a terrible curly brackets. There we go, that's better. Alrighty. Well, those are all of the possible rational zeros. So in a pinch, if you needed to, you could simply use those to determine, using synthetic division, what factors, which of these numbers are zeros, which would tell you what factors you would have. But we don't want to do that. So instead, we're going to use our technology, and we're going to type this into y equals. So do 8x to the fourth minus 26x cubed minus 27x squared plus 11x plus 4. And if you want to, you can graph it. You can kind of see how it looks. Usually it's not going to be all that helpful to you. Sometimes it is. Now, in this case, you can tell that there are 4 places with which this crosses the x-axis, so you know that you're going to have 4 zeros. So if I go to the table, notice that again it starts at 0, so I can go above and below. Notice whenever it starts getting to be really large numbers, there's probably not a 0 beyond that point. But, oh look, at -1 there's a 0. So I'm going to prove that synthetically, using synthetic division. So on B here, I'm going to prove that -1 is a 0 of this function. So I have an 8, -26, -27, 11, 4. Bring down the 8, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, and add. Fantastic, I've just proven that negative 1 is a 0. That means that x plus 1 is a factor. Now let's go back to the calculator. So there's a 0. Oh, look, there's another 0, and that's the number 4. So I'm going to prove synthetically that the number 4 is a 0. So 4, bring down the 8, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, and add. Now then, 3 numbers means that this is quadratic. And you could find the fractions, but I'm going to just use factoring here. Now again, the 4 being a 0 means x minus 4 is a factor. But here we have 8x squared minus 2x minus 1. And this can be factored. You can use bottoms up if you want. But remember, the 1 here means that there's a 1 and a 1, guaranteed. Now we have an x and an x. And the negative means one's positive, one's negative. So we'll figure that out in a second. And we're going to need a difference of 2 between the two because these are 1 and 1. So that's going to make this a 4 and a 2. So notice that you have 8x squared and a 1 being plus or minus will give you a negative 1. Question is, how do we get a negative 2 out of this? Well, the 4x times negative 1 gives you a negative 4x. And then the positive 1 times 2x is positive 2x. Added those together gives you that negative 2x. What I've just shown you is a guess and check form. Okay, most of y'all are probably not going to do that. You probably are going to do bottoms up. And the bottoms up is going to be something like this. And its factorization, x here, positive, negative. What multiplies to 8 has a difference of 2. Well, that's again 4 and 2. So 4 there, 2 there, divide by 8, and so on and so forth. And that's going to give you 4x plus 1 times 2x minus 1. Don't forget to divide by 8. And now notice that this is actually going to give you the zeros as well. So negative a quarter and positive a half. We could prove those synthetically if we wanted. But these are the factors. And notice that they're linear factors. Therefore, f of x is going to be x plus 1, x minus 4, 4x plus 1, and 2x minus 1. And that is the factorization. Now notice that each of these is linear, and we've actually done what it asked, the linear factors. Alrighty, fantastic. Well, I will see you all next time. Have fun.